Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Media Talks TV with your host Tony J. We're doing another segment of retrospectives where we delve into some topics concerning media in the last 20 to 30 years. If you're new here, click the like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We've been growing so far. We got 5,000 views. So please like the video. Make sure you keep my stuff in the algorithm because the channel is growing. Today, I'm going to delve into an issue. As you know, this week marked the 30th anniversary of The Lion King. For those that grew up in the 90s, that was a very special movie. Uh, One of the things that was special about it is my very first film that I went to go see in the movie theaters when I was a child. And out of all the films that have come out in the 90s, as far as kids that grew up in the 90s, there are three pivotal films that really proved to be transformative for Hollywood. And that was The Lion King, Toy Story, and Titanic. Three big box office films, but what was most important about that time period was the fact that The Lion King helped to create this renaissance with Disney movies. So what I mean by that is that during that time period, nobody was really watching Disney. Disney was really in a transformative state. If you go back to 1984 or 85, Michael Eisner became president of the Walt Disney Company. And Disney was going through a transformation in terms of resurrecting their declining state. Nobody was really watching Disney movies in the 80s. And then when Michael Eisner becomes the president of Walt Disney Company and Walt Disney Animation, there became a renaissance period that kind of started in 1989 and then went all the way up to 2005. And why that period was very important, that period was so important for Disney because adults were starting to spend money going to see films with their children. So in 89, you had The Great Mouse Detective that comes out, Oliver and Company, then The Rescuers, and then we get to Beauty and the Beast. And that Beauty and the Beast kicks off the popularity with Disney movies. And then as you move along, Aladdin becomes a box office hit in 92. Then we get The Lion King. And here's where Disney starts to make billions of dollars. When The Lion King came out in 1994, there was a lot of things attached to it. One being the merchandise. If you were a kid growing up going to Burger King and you had the cups and the collectibles, I advise you to keep those because they're going to be worth a lot of money right now. Like anybody that got a cup from a Lion King cup, a Lion King toy, a Lion King plush, Lion King sing along, please keep that because it's worth a lot of money now. It's been 30 years. So I advise anybody that has any collectibles from that time period to please keep it and don't sell it. But to jump right into it, the merchandise that Disney was pumping out was making Lion King popular. And what was interesting about The Lion King when it came out, it transformed animation. It turned movies, it took serious topics and put them in children's movies. And if you, I know you've watched Lion King, I know you guys watched Lion King several times. And the thing that is very poignant about The Lion King is that the fact that The Lion King had an adult theme within the frame of a children's story. So, with the whole thing with Hamlet and Shakespeare, it became a thing. And that framework was injected into that movie. So, not only did could children enjoy that movie, but adults alike can also enjoy that film as well. And then on top of that, you had such a great cast. You had James Earl Jones. You had, you know, Jason Weaver who sung Just Can't Wait to Be King. And he's still making royalties off that song. He's still making royalties off of that film to this day. So he's eating well. Um, and then you have, you know, Cheech and Chong were a part of the film as the hyenas. Whoopi Goldberg did a voiceover as a hyena, and Rafiki was played by Robert Guillaume, who originally was Benson. So it had such an amazing cast. Elton John, of course, Elton John did "Can You Feel the Love Tonight," which became a hit for Disney. And any child that grew up during that time when The Lion King come out, it was a spectacular event. Like it was a monumental event if you were a kid going to the movie theaters. Like I think I saw two movies that year, 1994, and that was The Lion King and also the second one was Ace Ventura. Like I saw that was the second movie I saw. That was a double feature I saw, I think. Um cuz Lion King and Ace Ventura were probably the most popular movies during the summer of 94. So it was interesting, and with that, high grossing film, what's the most important was the backdrop of Africa as well, which was kind of poignant to use Africa and the Serengeti as a backdrop for this kingdom of lions and how they survive and understanding the natural pecking order of the animals in the animal kingdom. And you also, one of the things you took away from the film as well was the fact that it also taught you about fatherhood and manhood and the passing down of legacy and the betrayal from a family member like Scar, uh, which was a very interesting conflict within the movie and how he grew up, how Simba comes this little cub, and he runs away and abandons, abdicates the kingdom, and then comes back to become the king. And out of that movie, what was so interesting was, you never saw a film where there was kind of like a love scene in it. And I know y'all remember the love scene between Simba and Nala. And I always felt like that. And yeah, to be honest, I always felt like that was a sex scene. To be honest, with two lines and shit. But but there was never love was never a thing being portrayed in a film until I saw Lion King. And when you saw the relationship between Simba and Nala. So it felt like an adult movie, well, it was still a kids movie with an adult theme overall, overarching that film. And after the success of The Lion King, it spawned Broadway shows that have been on Broadway for years, and then 1998 comes and that spawns the Broadway show. Lion King comes to 42nd Street, and that became a big thing. And Lion King has been a very lasting brand for Disney. And what was so important on a business side for the Lion King being so successful, this is the time period between 94 and 2005 where Michael Eisner gets to expand Disney. So 1995, Disney uh kind of merges with Capital City Communications, CCC. And Capital City Communications is associated with ABC. Well, the first merger that Michael Eisner did was with ABC, and that's where we get the Saturday morning cartoons like Chippendale Rescue Rangers in '91 and '92, and Tailspin and DuckTales and all this stuff. It just started expanding, and then by '95 they started jumping into producing movies. They merged with Miramax and Touchstone, and they start producing Angels in the Outfield and Pocahontas, and then Pocahontas becomes well, first it was Toy Story. Toy Story had become a success, and then Pixar did live animation, and then 1995 comes, and then this is where the popularity for kids will, you know, going to the movies. I think I went to the movies so many times between 94 and 98, seeing Pocahontas, of course, a Goofy movie, and after seeing a Goofy movie that became popular, the VHSs were big. So once it came out on VHS, like the way that the VHSs are, if you have your VHSs, just make sure you save those, because those were a piece of art. Like they had the little puffy VHSs, and you put it in your room, and it looked like a bookcase. Like Disney really put a lot of work into merchandising and licensing and trademarking Lion King. Because when Lion King became popular, all the toys at the toy store, everybody had to have a Timon and Pumbaa stuffed toy. I had, of course, if you were born in the '90s, you had the Timon and Pumbaa blanket, the Fro pillows. I had the Fro pillows along with the Power Rangers merchandise. Like they were making buku money off of this stuff. $930 million box office hit. $930 million in 1994. And what was so interesting is that time period, like Disney was really on it. Michael Eisner was taking over in a way where we didn't see it coming, and then when the popularity of Pixar picks up, then we had this thing where there was conflicting rumors about animators breaking away because they wanted to do their own thing, and then you had this competition breaking away with DreamWorks, and then DreamWorks produces Ants, and then Disney wants to compete with DreamWorks because live animation starts becoming a thing. So Ants comes out in 97, Toy Story comes out in 95, and then before you know, once Ants comes out, 1998 comes around and A Bug's Life comes out. And then Toy Story 2, and then Monsters Inc., and then da da da, and then Incredibles, and then it's just like they were producing so much movies and so much stuff, and Michael Eisner era of Disney was just on it. I don't know about the Bob Iger era of Disney. They're trying to stay on top, and I'm hoping that they do, but despite them becoming political, too politicized. But with Bob Iger back in the fray of everything at Disney, you know, um, really, I think Disney is at the crossroads at this point with everything. But back to my main point about the Lion King, it just turned everything upside down for animated movies and features. There was no telling what the success would have been. But as successful as Lion King is now, you know, everybody recognizes, like, if you were born in the 90s, Lion King is the number one animated movie. Second one is Toy Story. Toy Story had a tremendous impact on 90s culture. And, it's just so interesting that Disney kind of transformed everything, pushed animation to the edge. And that's what's so beautiful about that movie. You learn about growth, you learn about manhood, and it was a beautiful story. It took me a while to understand the movie. Now, because of the popularity of the movie, I didn't really watch the sequels. I didn't watch the prequels either because I felt like it just kind of messed it up a little bit. But they had Simba's Pride. I think that came out in 2000 something. You know, uh, I don't know what it was like all the and then Timon and Pumbaa had their own TV show, animated TV show. Hercules comes out in 98, and Hunchback of Notre Dame comes out in 98. Emperor's New Groove comes out 2000. Then you started noticing they get all this money, and then they started expanding their theme parks, which is crazy. Like, Disney is a global company, but all of it started with The Lion King. All of it. We sung the songs growing up. I remember I had a sing along um cassette tape along with the soundtrack, the Lion King soundtrack that Elton John produced. Um, it was more popular, I would say, neck and neck with Aladdin too. We forget Aladdin. Aladdin was a hit as well because of Robin Williams. But the fact that James Earl Jones was in the movie solidified it as being one of the greatest movies of all time. So a happy 30th anniversary to The Lion King, and I hope other generations get to experience the beauty of the film. Some of you that have kids now may be watching the film with your kids now. So it's lasted this long, it's going to last another 30 years. This has been another retrospective with Media Talks TV. I'm your host, Tony J. Be sure to hit the like on this video. You know, hit the bell notification because I got more videos coming up. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.